Well, hello and welcome to the Kingdompreneur Moment Live Show. I am your host, Doreen, Lettsome, Reid, and I'm sent to unlock what's inside you, clarifying your mission, your message, and your mandate as you do what, ladies? Boldly rise up and proclaim your faith right in the worldwide marketplace. So it's an honor to be here with you on our special edition of the Kingdompreneur Moment Live Show. And yes, I know that we are a little late today because we normally air at 12 o'clock. But I'm telling you, this show is going to be so amazing. And all the things that we're getting ready to tell you, I'm telling you, you better hold on your seat. It is going to be fire today. We have a special guest who is Mr. Oliver from South Carolina DJJ System. We also have special speakers and sponsors that have actually helped provide for South Carolina DJJ System to be a partakers of next generation entrepreneurship training, connecting men in business with today's youth. So I just want to welcome you to today's show, Kingdompreneur Moment Live Show. I want you to go ahead and share the show. I want you to go ahead and get ready to receive what we have for you, this amazing opportunity. We were invited into South Carolina DJJ, and we literally have been impacting the lives of our youth through our sponsors today. And I would like to start with Mr. Millette and Chef D, and also Mr. Calhoun. They're going to tell you a little bit about themselves, and then we're going to have our special guest, which is Mr. Oliver from South Carolina DJJ, talk to you about all that's been going on for the last 3 weeks. We have been working with South Carolina DJJ, impacting the lives of our young people. And so without further ado, Mr. Millette, thank you for being here. Go ahead and tell the people a little bit about yourself, and we appreciate you being our sponsor. We appreciate you being our speaker for today. We had 2 sessions, Mr. Millette. You want to go ahead and tell the people all about it? I don't know if they can stand it. There's so much going on. We had a great time today. I'm so excited.
To the viewers, listeners, thank you so much for your time. My name is Corwin Millette. I am the broker and owner of Exit Realty Low Country Group in beautiful North Charleston, South Carolina. I am a hometown in the PD, way back in the day, around the Florence, Marion, and from Mullins area. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. For those of you who are locals, today we had a blast. I mean, we had 2 great groups who are eager, who are hungry, to be frank about it, who need to do some things to change their trajectory, and who seem to be engaged and committed to doing so. So we really talked about mindset. We talked about opportunities, and most importantly, we encouraged them to do something different and better. So again, I thank you so much for having me. And we had a ball.
You are a real estate mogul. And so, yeah, we're just going to be straight with it. We're just going to tell the people what the real deal is. You are a real estate mogul. You are a serial entrepreneur. You are a very successful gentleman. And, you decided to be a part of next generation entrepreneurship training, connecting men in business with today's youth. And you were blown away that you literally now have potentially a student that's going to enroll. Literally, he stopped the conversation. He's like, no, I want to enroll in your real estate school. What does that feel like for you? I mean, I'm still blown away.
That is awesome. I mean, it's really a testament to the place where they are. We really, again, we talked about mindset, having a proper perspective, and most importantly, working towards something positive. So it was very exciting to hear that, to get that. Wait a minute, man, I'm serious. Let's go. Let's do it right now. Kind of talk. That was awesome. Because to be frank about it, our at-risk youth, if we don't help them, then we're all at risk. So it was very, very exciting to hear that, to get that opportunity to engage. They asked some very pointed questions. They want to know what the money looked like over here. So I can understand, and I appreciate. I tell people I don't like to talk about me. So I appreciate the plug. I mean, we have a passion for real estate, a passion for helping people, and we're looking for more people to do the same. And they seem to be really committed and looking for an opportunity to be a part of something that's much bigger than themselves.
So I want to bring in the South Carolina DJJ representative here, Mr. Oliver. Mr. Oliver, I tell you what, we have been hanging out for the last 3 weeks. I mean, it has been on fire. I mean, every week it's like we're building and we're building and we're building. These young men are not playing. So, Mr. Oliver, I thank you so much for allowing us full access. You gave us full access. I don't think the viewing audience is understanding the magnitude that we had full access to South Carolina DJJ impacting the lives of our young people. So tell us a little bit about your program. Tell us a little bit about yourself and the impact that Next Generation Entrepreneurship Training actually made on the last 3 weeks.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you, Ms. Reid, and thank you all to the guests and to the listeners and viewers. A little bit about myself. Like she mentioned, my name is Rod Oliver, and I am a Youth and Transition Program Manager here at the Department of Juvenile Justice in South Carolina. A little bit about the program. I work with about 30 youth. Basically, these young men have either earned a GED or high school diploma and are pursuing some college courses, potentially a degree, and just want to teach these kids, encourage them and empower them and educate them and equip them with quality transitional living skills that these young men can utilize once they transition or reintegrate back into the community, which is very, very important. And having this experience today, it was one of our I guess one of our abilities or one of our opportunities for the young men to be empowered by the guests and also get some information on entrepreneurship and possibly a future in entrepreneurship.
So, Mr. Oliver, for those viewers that may not know all of the ins and out of South Carolina DJJ and what does that stand for and what does that mean, just kind of paint a picture of that environment that these young people are in and how this Next Generation Entrepreneurship Training really changed the trajectory and really giving them doors to potentially open them, obviously, to now a real estate career, now a career as a chef, and now a career within the workforce. Can you kind of paint a picture for our viewers?
Yeah, yes, ma'am. Well, here at the agency, here at the department, this is one of our long-term facilities. And so these young men have been adjudicated and given guidelines that they have to fulfill here at the agency. But just having this experience it's this exposure for the young men. And I think through this program and partnership with you all, it allows them to see things a little bit differently, to gain some insight on something that they probably would never had experience or have experience in the community. And you're talking about a chef, right? And quite frankly, in a lot of our communities, we don't understand what that is or see that as an opportunity or a career. And to have Mr. Smith, I believe, speak about entrepreneurship and the ins and outs of being a chef and how lucrative that can be was eye-opening. And also real estate, the ins and outs of real estate. You know, many of our young men, they want to make money. Honestly, they want to make money fast. They want to make a lot of money. And the guys painted a picture and they really broke it down to them, and telling them that hard work does pay off and being consistent, and it's not going to be overnight. You just have to put in that work. And so I appreciate the men, just having them speak to our young men and being able to see somebody who looks like them, perhaps been through some of the experiences they've been through, really brings it home and it sticks with them.
Absolutely. So for those of you that are watching, I do want to bring you up to speed. We have our very special guest here today, and this is a special edition of the Kingdompreneur Moment Live show. I am your host, Kingdompreneur coach Doreen Lettsome Reid, and we are so thankful for this opportunity. This has been an amazing 3 weeks. And the special edition today is Next Generation Entrepreneurship Training, connecting men in business with today's youth. Our special guest here is Mr. Oliver, and he is actually a representative of South Carolina Department of Juvenile Justice. And the young men that we all together with the speakers and the sponsors. We have one of the speakers and sponsors here is a real estate mogul. His name is Mr. Millette. We have a world-renowned chef here with us, Chef Donald Smith, and we have Mr. Calhoun, who is in the corporate world and actually has the opportunity to serve one of the largest medical facilities here in the PD region located in South Carolina called Care South, and his name is Mark Calhoun. So all of these men as speakers and sponsors were able to literally go in. We literally virtually went into the South Carolina DJJ system, and we were able to impact the lives of these young men, for a lack of a better word, that are literally locked up. But they have taken this opportunity. They've turned their pain into power. Literally, they have a GED. They're in college courses. And Mr. Millette just got his mind blown. This young man stopped the conversation. He says, I'm coming to your school. How do I get in contact with you? And this literally has changed the trajectory. Now, for you, Chef D, they actually want you to come to their facility and cook for them, and they were very specific what they want you to bring to the table. So what does that make you feel like, and how has this program really changed your thoughts?
I mean, it's a good thing. I don't have a problem with going in. I'm glad you, and I want to say thank you again for inviting me to be a guest, and thank you, Mr. Reid, for letting us come in. I mean, they always say it takes a village, and us as men is the head of the village. So I applaud you two brothers also, Mr. Millette and the other brother. I applaud both of y'all. I mean, it takes a village. We are the village. So it's just mind blowing, the questions that they had, the response that they gave back with us, the feedback that they had. I mean, it was a good opportunity. And like we said earlier, a lot of them not gonna catch it tomorrow. They catch it 10 years from now. But they'll be able to say, we had this talk with Miss Doreen, and the brothers sit down and let us know how the entrepreneur world works. So I mean, it's gonna catch up with them in the long run.
Chef D, and what they were so engaging with you, they were so pacific and intentional with their questions.
Mm-hmm.
When you were going through that process, what really stood out to you about the conversation and the high level of intelligence we were able to literally see behind prison doors, basically?
I mean, it was the persistent on them, with the questions on how much does this cost? How do this work? And, what can I do to do this? I mean, it was just the questions. I mean, it really was intelligent questions. It wasn't like, sometimes you engage with young men and you get a bunch of silly questions. There was no silly questions. There was a lot of intelligent questions that they were asking. So that was the good part for me.
Absolutely, Chef D. Now, I want to bring Mr. Oliver back to the forefront. For you, Mr. Oliver, tell us a little bit about how long you've worked with the South Carolina DJ Safe system, and give us more insight into your program, and tell us the difference you've seen with this presentation, which is next generation entrepreneurship training, versus the engagement. Did you see any difference, or what was that looking like for you?
Well, yeah, thank you, Ms. Reid. So just my experience, my tenure here, I've been here for 11 years at the agency. And it's always great when you can expose you to different things, to different possibilities. And because I'm a believer that exposure creates an experience, and that experience, these young men can dream, or they can see themselves in a different light. And so that's what, this experience was great for them. As far as the impact, we started out in the first two orientations. You had a guest speaker, and I can't remember the guest speaker's name. And this man was a millionaire, and this man had gone to prison and got out and gotten his life straight. And those young men, and it really touched them, and they were like, wow, I can do that, right? We can see ourselves in a different light. And that, to me, when you see yourself in somebody else, that is more inspirational than anything. That is more encouraging than anything. And so they were, when are we gonna have the next session? When when is Miss Reid? They were asking, and I was telling them, hey, Thursday morning, just be ready, be prepared. And so we were able able to make that happen today, and I appreciate the men for again providing insight, providing feedback, and being frank and being upfront with them. Oftentimes people speak to young people and they feel like they got to sugarcoat things or kind of dress things up, but just speaking to them frankly and just telling them, hey, look, if you want to do something different in your life, you have to first change that mindset, and it starts with that mindset. And experiences like this helps to influence our mindset. So I appreciate you all today.
So, Mr. Oliver, his name is Shablis Danridge. And he was the gentleman that I had with me at the second orientation, and he just laid it out. They were also very intentional about their questions with Mr. Danridge, and his experience, like you said, his own personal experience, I think resonated with them because he was very plain, but he also articulated that, you don't have to stay there. You have the choice to rise up and boldly proclaim your faith right where you are. And you can use your abilities and your energy for good. The same energy that got you in this situation, you can use it for good. And so that was amazing. We've had an amazing 3 weeks with these young men. And not only were they able to hear from a entrepreneurship standpoint, Mr. Calhoun, with all of his experience in the corporate world and getting into that place of leadership, he was able to provide more insight into that as well. So, Mr. Calhoun, what was your take on today?
Yes, I love every minute of it. First and foremost, thank you for allowing us to be on this platform and having that opportunity to share with those young men and also Cohen and Chef D for team. Us coming together as a team and working with those young men, and Mr. Oliver. Thank you for doing what you're doing. That what you're doing is so important because you're able to touch some of those guys and put them in position to hear this opportunity. And what I saw today is we gave them options. Is what we did. We gave them options. We gave them 3 different career paths that are options for them. Two entrepreneurs and myself in the corporate world. Whether they want to go into business for themselves or they want to take the corporate route and affect change in their community. We gave them options today, and I loved every bit of it. Like the gentleman said, they asked poignant questions, and they were really specific about the questions they asked, and they were curious, and they were real inquisitive, and I think Cohen got him a future real estate agent coming his way. Um,
Literally.
yeah. Uh, is there like a commission I can get for
I
being
know,
part of
right?
it when he signed on with you?
That's what I was thinking because he's getting enrollments and he's getting all these enrollments, and I'm thinking, okay, are you gonna break us off something? Mr. Oliver's probably like, am I gonna get something, Mr. Calhoun? I'm thinking the same thing because he's
Yeah,
getting all these enrollments. And
yeah,
I was telling
absolutely.
him about another person that's interested in real estate. So I'm thinking, okay, you getting all these enrollments. We may need to talk about that, but it has just been an amazing opportunity. Now, Mr. Calhoun, what I do want you to share with the audience that are listening, we have viewers from all around the world that watch
Mhm.
the Kingdompreneur Moment live show, and they may be in a situation just like these young men. They may be in a situation where they're confined, where
Yeah.
they feel like their issues have them confined. What
Mhm.
is it that you would like to say and speak to the viewers, to motivate them to understand that you literally have the key to unlock what's inside you?
Well, you just don't let your current situation define you. Basically, don't think where you're at right now is where you're destined to be, because every one of us have will to be able to change our situation and what we're doing. So I would implore them, when they get the opportunity to get out and get back and reunite into society, that they think about their future and what they want to do. One of the key words that I heard throughout that whole entire program and that we talked about, I heard it from Cohen, I heard it from Chef D, heard it from you, and it was the word passion. And passion, that word went around to both sessions, and you have to be able to find your passion and hone in what your passion is, and work towards that. And that's going to take you. I think that's going to take you further than anything. Whatever that passion is, if it's being a chef, like Chef D, if it's being a real estate agent, like or broker and real estate owner, like Corwin, if it's a business coach like yourself, Miss Doreen, or is getting your life straight and become like Mr. Oliver, and going back into the system, and letting others learn from your example. But it has to be your passion, and you turn your passion into opportunity to change your life and move forward.
Absolutely. And, Chef D, you have a long history as a business owner, and you was explaining your experience with the young men and how you made a decision to, go and turn into another direction. So for you, the viewing audiences, as I said, we're here live on the Kingdompreneur Moment Live show. We have viewers from all around the world. What is something that you want to say to impact someone that may be watching, that may feel like their situation has them constricted and constrained?
I mean, dream dream big. Don't dream small. Continue to dream big. I mean, walk by faith. I mean, we got to continue to walk by faith. It's not about money. Mr. Millette said earlier, you might not have the money, but you have to continue to walk by faith. And if that's your passion, continue to doing it. I mean, we not gonna be able, we can't go to the bank and get the $1 million loans. We have to just keep on pushing it, whatever we got to do it. I mean, and it's like you said, it's faith. It's faith, babe. Put your trust in God and just keep on pushing.
Absolutely. Now, Mr. Millette, we have viewers watching here. They are excited that you guys are here. They are just blowing up the screen over here, so we may break the internet at this point. They're excited to have all of you gentlemen joining us. And, Mr. Millette, I want you to give a shout out to all the fathers that are going to be joining and doing various things with their families this weekend, and from a business perspective, and you are a father, or you have children, or what would you really like to say to the gentlemen that are listening right now?
I probably would say very pointedly, very, very directly, they're watching. That's it. They're watching. Our children watch us, what we do. I recognize within my own children some of the things that I don't think I'm anything really, but the things that what people would say, well, maybe the better qualities that I possess, I notice how they emulate some of those. So as for the fathers, look, everybody went all out, a month ago for Mother's Day, and we appreciate the mothers, but look, it's Father's Day. Look, we want more than having to stand over the grill and cook for everybody. So, so for what it's worth, just know that the kids are watching you. You know what I'm saying? I prime example this past week. My mother-in-law is in the hospital. She's doing well, but still in the hospital, and just watching how we have to sometimes stop, drop, and do things to take care of the people that we love. We have to stop, drop sometimes and take care of the business and the people that we're committed to serving as well. And for our children to watch and know that, and see us not be selfish about it, not be angry about it. That's what we do as men. We take up the mantle without complaint. And for that to happen, and they be able to see it is very, very, very important.
Thank you for that. And so, Mr. Calhoun, what would you say to the fathers that are watching at this time?
Absolutely, absolutely. Again, yeah, be that example for your kids. Be there for your kids. Be the one that they guide you. They look up to us as men. Be that constant example that you want your child to be, whether it's a young man or daughter. Be that constant example in their life and give them good advice. Get them be wise counsel for them, right? be wise counsel for them and lead them in the right direction. I'm fortunate to have the opportunity to know these brothers and being able to get to know Chef D and even Mr. Oliver. Hopefully, we can all connect and keep networking as we move along. I have a son that's in culinary school right now, so I definitely might be hollering at Chef D and get some of his advice, and maybe if he allows, talk with my son about the peril, the being a chef, because he's just finishing his first semester at Culinary Institute down in Myrtle Beach. So be that constant example for them, be wise counsel for them, love them, let them make their own decisions. They're going to fall sometimes, they're going to make mistakes, but be there to be a guide for them and a sounding board and a comfort for them when they need it. That's what I'll say.
All right, Coach D, it sounds like you're getting a mentor soon. You're going to be mentoring someone soon.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. No problem.
So he's going to learn from the master, Mr. Calhoun. So I'm going to be expecting a plate of food at this point. I mean, come on, y'all have tortured me about this no food business. So I'm expecting a plate of food. So Chef D, what would you have to say to the fathers that are watching?
Again, I'm gonna piggyback on what both the brothers said. The kids are watching. I mean, we lead by example. I mean, I'll just give you a synopsis of what my son. I took my son to LA with me to do the last job. I pick up a bottle of Voss water that I like to drink, and he comes behind me and he picks up the same bottle of water, and he walks like, well, I'm like, you drank this water? He's like, yeah, I'm drinking it now. That's because he's watching what you're doing. Kids watch what their fathers do. Boys especially watch what their fathers do. Not in all aspects. Like I said earlier, my father been in prison. I didn't watch that part. I mean, but they're watching how you tie your shoe, how you put your tie on. I have my grandson up here with me for a couple of weeks of the summer, and I'm trying to train him. You get up, you put your clothes on. Even if you put your clothes on just to go walk to the pool. And kids, young men are watching other older men. And we have to, keep setting that example. Like I said again, we are the village. In a village, we are the head of the village. And we have to continue to set the example for the village.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, Mr. Oliver, you are expecting. We don't know if the baby is going to come on Father's Day, but this is an amazing moment in your life where you are literally getting ready to receive a bundle of joy. So how are you feeling for this Father's Day?
Yes, ma'am. I'm excited. I'm already a father to three beautiful kids, and like you said, expecting another one here pretty soon. Just to kind of sum it up, from what the other brothers have said, um, we gotta be present. We gotta be intentional. We gotta be consistent, and we just have to be there. Fatherhood to me is not just being a father to my kids. It's being a father to the kids in the community who doesn't have that father, and to be that example. And it's a daunting task, honestly, y'all. It's a daunting task, but it's a necessary task, and I'm committed to that task. And we need other brothers like you all and other brothers around the world just to not to just look at your own, but take that responsibility and be a father or a mentor to the kids in the community, because we got to get our kids back, and we got to get our community back, and it's going to start with us, and being that example for the young men and the young women in the community, but just from a male's perspective, we really need to focus in on our young men.
Yes, and it's okay to hone in on our males. And as I shared with all of you, and I shared with the young men at the SCDJJ system, that for me, as a mother and as a businesswoman, this is why I do what I do. And Mr. Millette was actually telling the young men, to be successful, you must be rooted and grounded in your why. Your why is your mission, your message, and your mandate. And so I'm very clear about those three things, that for me as a businesswoman, why I do what I do is because I have a son, and I promised God that I would always give back to the next generation and inspire them and propel them in doing what's right. And coming from a faith-based perspective and having that opportunity to point them to faith, because without that, it's just not impossible. It's impossible to do anything without faith. And so I am so thankful that I had this opportunity to pour into these young men and stir them up. They kept they enjoy when I get going and start stirring them up. So that was, they literally gave me a standing ovation at one point. So I am so thankful for these young men. I appreciate them. I appreciate Mr. Oliver for having us and giving us he has been so wonderful. Thank you, Mr. Oliver. I called him, called his supervisor, Mr. Andy, and Mr. Andy turned it over to Mr. Oliver, and Mr. Oliver took it to another level. I tell you what. So I thank you so much for Mr. Oliver. You've been working there for a very long time. And when I first met you, you said that I'm there for life. And so I just pray God's blessings over you, your wife, and your new baby that is going to be delivered successfully, without any hindrances, without any delays, without any complications. I declare that to you in the name of Jesus. And I declare that every need that he'll have or she will have is already met. And I just wish all of you men here, the speakers, the sponsors, Mr. Millette and Mr. Calhoun, Chef Donald Smith, I could not have done this without your support. I also would like to acknowledge Mr. Wright, who gave a donation, who is the husband of Dr. Margot Wright Williams. He gave a donation because he could not be present, but he thought enough of this program, Next Generation Entrepreneurship Training, and enough of these young men that are in South Carolina DJJ system to want to plant a seed. And so I want to acknowledge him publicly and openly. I could not do what I do without you gentlemen, and to see with my own eyes something I've never done. God has never opened up a door to actually literally go into a prison and act and impact lives. This has been unprecedented for me, and it has just been an amazing experience. I can't even express how I feel. I just feel like I know I've planted good seed in good ground, and I'm expecting God to do great things in these young men's lives. And I want you gentlemen to have a blessed, happy Father's Day. Know that you are appreciated. Know that I appreciate you for taking your time, because we've been up since 10 o'clock this morning. It is now 1 o'clock, and I do not take that lightly. You all, when I made the adjustments of the program, you were willing. And Coach D and Chef D kept saying, "I'm ready." He was like, "I'm ready. I'm strong." He kept emailing me, "I'm ready. Just tell me where to go, what to do." And I was so thankful for all of you. Of course, the real estate mogul king himself is in the house.
Right.
Mr. Calhoun has been with me for 5 years. I mean, Mr. Calhoun is a godsend. Anything I ask him to do, he's always there helping the community. He truly has a compassion for the people. And Mr. Calhoun, I can't count now how many people we done touched, because we've been together a long time. I think it's up to 500 young people. I don't know, because when we was back in the school, we had 200 in one day. So at this point, I have lost count. What do you think, Mr. Calhoun?
Yeah, I'm with you on that. It's been quite a few. I know Oakland was a 500 plus going over the years, and just wanted to let you know, we've been stymied by COVID over the last year, but we're back into the community. We've just began integrating ourselves back into the community over the last month. So I'm ready for one of those events when you're ready.
You ready for me? So, Mr. Calhoun, this has been like, we didn't let COVID-19 stop us, Mr. Calhoun, because every year we're usually at a school, we're usually at a college.
Mhm.
But when I came to you and I told you what I wanted to do, you was like, wow. And then Mr. Oliver opened up the door virtually for us to literally impact hundreds of lives, because Mr. Oliver is going to get webinars. He's getting all these things, we didn't let it stop us, Mr. Calhoun. So we are literally just pressing forward. And I thank you so much. and all of you gentlemen. So all of you that are watching, gentlemen that are watching, please have a wonderful, happy Father's Day. And I just wish you all the best. Thank you for supporting Next Generation Entrepreneurship Training, connecting men in business with today's youth. Thank you for watching the Kingdompreneur Moment Live show. I am your host, Doreen Lettsome Reid, Kingdompreneur, sent to unlock what's inside you, giving you clarity of your mission, message, and mandate as you boldly proclaim your faith in the worldwide marketplace. Y'all have a blessed weekend and a happy, happy Father's Day. Y'all be good now.
Right.